Jamil here from Aravaipa. How's it going, guys? Here today with Steve Adderholt. He's the race director for the Cocodona 250. How you doing today, Steve?
Really great.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. We are going to be talking about what you just came off of. You just came off of doing the route. So you've been working on permits for a couple months and finally got out there, feet and wheels on the ground.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. And we were originally planning a pretty cool test run with staff and racing team members and some other invitees, I guess. And we had to change things a little bit because of the current situation. So it turned into a solo effort by you and your bike.
Yeah, that's
and,
right.
Dragging it through some remote portions of Arizona.
Dragging it on, fortunately, parts that are not going to be part of the course. But yeah, some scouting on some alternate courses turned into some bushwhacking for sure with the bike. Wasn't all that great, but hey, it's an adventure.
Yeah, so we wanted to take a bit of time today and walk, I guess, the audience or whoever's tuning in, potential future Cocodona entrants and finishers, walk through the course a little bit, kind of your first impressions. I had a chance to pre-run a majority of the race course last year. We've made some changes since, and I was really sad I had to miss this one. But yeah, I wanted to walk through some of your experience. We saw a little bit of a few teasers on Facebook and Instagram, but we're going to splice in some clips from your trip, and we just want to hear from you firsthand. What was it like out there on the Cocodona route?
Well, I knew how beautiful it was because I've been on the course a lot in previous years, but also permitting. I've made a bunch of trips out to check out certain sections. So I knew the beauty of the course, but I was blown away when you put all of the diversity together and you see it back to back and see the changes. And I was just blown away by the course, and it was a little microcosm of going through an ultra. Granted, I would at night take a solar shower and cook dinner in my van and have a cocktail and sleep in a bed in the van. So I was living it up pretty plush compared to an ultra race, but still, like, there were certain days I'm like, man, I just want a day off. I don't really want to put in a bunch of miles today again. Then at the end of the course, I'm looking back at the mountains above Flagstaff and like, man, I don't want this to end. I've got a few miles left. I don't want it to end.
I saw your post there when you were, I think you had just gotten off of Eldon and kind of near Buffalo Park maybe, and you were looking up at kind of Eldon, the peaks one last time before heading into Flagstaff. It's like you'd been staring at those peaks for almost the whole race. You can see them right outside Crown King.
Yeah, pretty much. They pop up around every corner, it seems like. And really cool, too, because they get closer and closer and closer. And then you're right in them up at Eldon. Yeah.
That's awesome. The other interesting thing was the weather. But I really want to get right into the course here. But it's so interesting. We were just talking about this. We have a bit of a heat wave right now. This week, which I guess we're 1 year before the race, in Phoenix, it's going to hit 107 this week. 1 year ago, when we did our pre-run, we cleared Crown King, and a couple hours later, it started snowing. So the diversity and the challenge of this course is big, and I think it's super interesting. And but yeah, let's start. How did your trip start? Let's just kind of go through it. Walk us through it.
The first day was a bit of a cluster because there were 2 or 3 routes that you and I were looking at. There are some permitting hurdles. We're trying to decide which of the approved routes are the best route for the course. One of them shown on a Forest Service map is a road, but it's definitely not a road. It's definitely not a trail. It's more like a cliff, and I was with my bike. So yeah, it was definitely some class 5 scrambling down cliff face with a bike. Really interesting day. beat me up. That was not a great start to this adventure.
We're definitely going to play those clips right now for
man.
people to see. This is not the course.
Yeah. Super tight bushwhacking through and then pulling my bike. That's why you go out and check it out is, you can map something out on Google Earth or a Forest Service map, but you got to put your feet on the ground. So that first day, not that great. But then I was actually really surprised. All of the area of the course west of Black Canyon City has a ton of water. It's like pumping a lot of water through there. The Agua Fria River, man, they've got a lot of water pumping through there. So that was the big thing that I noticed, and the huge saguaro cactus, and you're just getting your fill of the Sonoran Desert that first day, that first 25 miles or so. So that was day one.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you did like an out and back, and then you ended up going up to Crown King.
I did a big loop on the options. Option number 1, and then down option number 2 the first day, and then drove around. Yeah, then started at Crown King on day 2.
Had you been up to Crown King before?
I had not been up to Crown King. No, I'd been up in the Bradshaws before, but never all the way up to Crown King.
Nice.
Super cool little place.
Yeah, I mean, was the saloon even open? Probably not with what's going on right now.
No, the store was open. The saloon was closed down.
Yeah, bars are closed, unfortunately.
Yep, but the creeks are pumping up there. They're probably starting to slow down a little bit now, but that second day started at Crown King, and you climb up out of Crown King to Towers Mountain. Great climb. The temps were a lot cooler. Beautiful looking out. Most of the time you're looking kind of south and west into the Bradshaws.
Can we back up for 1 second? Just what can runners expect that first day? I mean, they're leaving the desert. There's a river crossing right away. It's going to be hot probably. What are they in for those first few miles?
Yeah, it's the first few miles, the first 5 or so miles are great single track. You're on the Black Canyon Trail, awesome single track. And then as you're climbing up towards into the Bradshaws, it's some steep double track roads, and it's pretty hot. The good thing is there's a couple of places where you can take a big old dip in some pools that are nice and cool. But yeah, you can expect a hot day climbing some kind of rougher single track, and then it'll open up to where you can kind of let your legs out. But yeah, a lot of climbing, a lot of heat that first day.
But at least you are climbing towards the pines.
Oh yeah. The quicker you get there, the cooler it'll get too.
So flash forward to the Bradshaws.
So yeah, Bradshaws, once you get up and over the Lane Mountain Trail and then into Crown King at mile 32 to 37 or so, you're mainly on some pretty good double track and climbing all the way up to Tower Mountain. That's kind of that first real big peak you're hitting. Right before you hit Tower Mountain, dropping down onto some old Forest Service single track that's taking you, it feels like you're back in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I felt that same way for sure. You're kind of dropping back into really an unknown area. It feels like not too many people go back there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, if you look at a map with the right layers on, you can see a ton of mining claims through there, but I don't know how they would get back there. You never really would know that
they're not like
stuff's back there.
Open mines or anything.
No, it's just from the map. I didn't see any evidence back in there. And then you get onto this super plush pine needle base single track that's so good. I was on my bike at this point, just ripping down, come around a corner, and there's Flagstaff, the peaks, San Francisco Peak. That's the first kind of shot you get, probably mile 40, 41, somewhere in there.
The Bradshaws are interesting. You see them from, if you drive in between Phoenix and Flagstaff, you see the Bradshaws, they're up there, but there's not really a chance to get out in them, I feel like. There's not a ton of developed trails in terms of like trailheads that someone would just go drive to and run. I've never really heard of runners going they go to Prescott to run. They go to Black Canyon Trail to run. They do the Crown King Scramble. But traversing the entire Bradshaw's is not something that I've heard of many runners that have done.
Yeah, it seems out there that it's more ATV traffic, more campers. It's not really a mountain bike and trail runners established area yet. There you go. Yeah. And the one of the coolest things, you're going in between the route that you put together, Jamil, is like some rugged, old, not very used tracks to connect these gem single track sections. And then, okay, that one ends, and then you're on some double track for a while, and then it gets really rough, and then bam, you're on this awesome single track again. There's really some pretty cool stuff back there. So I'm surprised that it's not more heavily used by single track users.
Sweet.
Yeah,
that's cool. And we had to modify the route, I know, a little bit coming into the Prescott area from what we did a year ago, due to, I think, mainly wildlife issues in the area of the Prescott National Forest. But I think, I don't know, from what it seems like on the map, it's still some spectacular stuff. Like, we're not really losing a whole lot. I think we had to cut out Spruce Mountain, but we've still got Mount Union. We've still got Yankee Doodle Peak in there.
Yep, and Yankee Doodle is great. And then I actually really like the route down from Friendly Pines or the Groom Creek area down into Prescott. We go through Coldwater Lakes, or go by Coldwater Lakes, and that single track is just going to be so much fun to run downhill from Friendly Pines down into Prescott. It's just great single track.
So Friendly Pines is our first sleep station, and we've got the whole camp.
Yeah, it's mile 69 in the course, first major aid station, so first sleep station. We've got the whole camp. We've got bunkhouses. I think we're going to try to set it up to where runners can individually book a bunk room, bunkhouse, and then we'll also have some group bunkhouses. And it's kind of the first place that the crew is going to have great access. They'll have access at Crown King too, but that Friendly Pines is kind of where their job really starts for their runners. And so I'd really like to do something special for the crew there also. We'll have some music going, some bonfire, maybe nice. Some cocktails, and it'll be a good place for the crew as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great place to hang out, I think. Like, go grab some dinner in town on Whiskey Row, come to camp, just hang out. I think that's one of the things we wanted to foster here too, is have places where people can really get to know one another.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that, we're heading into Prescott itself.
Well, so I do want to back up just a little bit.
Sure.
So, in the mile 50 area, you put the course going on Arasta Creek, and you're just going up the creek. Beautiful creek that's kind of flowing over boulders. One of the things I like the most about trail running is the rugged independence. So, you just take off with a bunch of food in your pack, a water pump, just go for miles. Might get lost, might run out of food, might need to fill up water out of the creek, but you're out there exploring, adventuring. It's pretty great. And creek water, the best thing ever. Woo! And then you pull away from the creek onto this ridgeline, and you're just on this ridgeline for about 3 miles, and it's straight down, straight up, and just loose, rough, rugged. And
Were you on your bike there?
Yeah. I think I sent a video to you that was like, F you, Jamil. Anyways, running it would be great. But yeah, thanks for the heads up on that biking section. I just pushed my bike from way down there in the valley all the way up this ridge line. And it's just hill after hill like this, just straight up. And loose rocks, overgrown, it's scraping me up. You, Jamil. So from Friendly Pines, you roll down into Prescott. Prescott's a really cool town. They've got a great little main square area with Whiskey Row. Has the oldest saloon in Arizona, right next to where our aid station is. So stop in there for a shot of whiskey or a meal at the Palace if they're open when you pass through. Good morning. We are in Prescott on Whiskey Row. This is mile 78 at an aid station. It'll be right behind us over there, right next to the Palace Saloon. The beautiful Vanna White and Colleen back there. Downtown square of Prescott. Pretty cool place. Most runners will be coming through here kind of in the middle of the night on Monday night going into Tuesday morning early. And so maybe the first few can get a shot of whiskey. And then from there, we do have some pavement sections from Prescott through Prescott Valley until we get to Fain Ranch. Really, I think what you've tried to do is put together a course that hits all of these gems, from single track to views to historical to ranching to mining, and because of that, you're going to have some miles of pavement. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, for us it was important. We could have skirted Prescott. We even discussed that as we were going through permitting. I know we could have hopped on the Prescott Circle Trail, just bypassed right around town. But yeah, for us, it was important to be involved with the towns that we're going through and connect them together. And the fact that we have an aid station on Whiskey Row, it's pretty dang cool. I'm really pumped about that. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is cool. It's at a hotel, actually, hotel in a square. So you can just go right upstairs and grab a room if you want. One section of the course that's right outside of Prescott that is just stunning is Granite Dells, Watson Lake. It's a man-made reservoir, but right in these granite boulders that is just kind of unexpected and amazingly beautiful right there, right outside of Prescott. You jump on the trail that goes around the lake. So this is Watson Lake, just kind of at the edge of Prescott. Leaving Prescott, we get to go kind of up and around and through those boulders up there. Beautiful lake. Lots of ducks out here, birds chirping. Wonderful day. Most runners will probably be passing by here. Now at 82, 81-ish. Probably early in the morning. You'll get a nice sunrise on the rocks. It's a super unique part of the trail here, Watson Lake. We got the lake and the dam behind us. We're going right behind that dam. All the granite dells. Super pretty place. And then I wasn't expecting this when I was on the bike, because I've seen a lot of the pictures and when you ran it last year, Jamil. But going underneath the dam and the spillway, it's like this little oasis, like plush green grass, birds chirping, trees all over the place. This creek coming underneath the dam at Watson Lake. Super beautiful place. Check that out, man. Yeah. What a cool little gem on this trail, man. Oh my gosh. Mile 84, just about to head into Granite Dells aid station. Sweet.
It's like a riparian paradise. The whole Granite Dells is just, like you said, it's unexpected. It shouldn't be there, it feels like. Like it seems like the whole thing was just man-made, like an amusement park or something for nature lovers. I don't know. It's really cool. Definitely a highlight for me.
Just left Watson Lake. Jumped on the Iron King Trail. Desert all around you with these granite domes and spires sticking up. Yeah, and then you pop out of the boulders, it's like all at once. You pop out of the Granite Dells and it's done. And you're looking across the valley and at where you're going. So Fain Ranch, and then right up above it, Mingus Mountain, across the valley. And I guess the way that you're getting there is the Iron King Trail. And I wish I would have known. I wish I would know the history of what the Iron King Trail is, but it seems like it's a old train grade to either bring the ore to the valley or bring supplies up to across to Jerome. I don't know. Every once in a while, it's pretty nice to have a super nice, soft, flat grade like this to just open the legs up. So mile 87, Iron King Trail, really great place for that. Cool history to it too. This is an old railroad grade used for all the mining operations around here. So that's an old railroad car that they've got set aside as a little park memento.
Yeah, we should brush up on that history probably, but yeah, I know it's a rails to trails. So yeah, you get on that, you're kind of going over slick rock, and then all of a sudden it's just smooth running.
Yeah, it is. That's fast. Yeah, exactly. Crushed granite surface, super straight. Just stretch your legs out. You're at mile 80, so maybe it's not so much stretching legs out as just walking really, really fast. Just popped out of Granite Dells. See behind us all the granite formations. Now we're headed across the Prescott Valley, super green. See Mingus Mountain. That's where we're gonna go up and over to Jerome, and then way off in the distance, there's the mountains around Flagstaff. And then you're on some surface streets through Prescott Valley, and then you get into Fain Ranch. And I was blown away by Fain Ranch.
Yeah, I think I am in the same boat. I think maybe just driving around that area so many times, you don't think much of it. You're just, it's some grasslands. But when you're out there experiencing it on foot, it's just a different story. Going through Fain Ranch. This is really cool just to be able to get to go through Fain Ranch. Usually you wouldn't get permission, but super green. Yeah, I guess I liken it to being out in the ocean. You're like in the big swell. You'll be up on top of the swell, and you can see for a long time, and then boom, you drop down, and all you can see all around you is water. It's like that. You're like up on a hill, and you can see all around you. You can see Mingus Mountain. You know where you're going. Then you kind of drop down. It's super gradual. You drop down, and it's just grass hills all the way around you. It was really green too. I was expecting it to be all like dry grass. Well, we're 100 miles in. We're on Fain Ranch. You can see way off in the distance where we started. All the Bradshaws. All up there on the high ridge line. We dropped down into Prescott, came through Granite Dells, which is way out there, across Prescott Valley, across the Fain Ranch. Super green. I saw cows for sure, but then antelope too, a lot of antelope. And then they were booking. Every time they saw me, they started booking. God, they're fast, man. Look at that. So awesome. I'm glad you had that same experience, because that's shocked me to see the herds of antelope out there. So I'm glad that's hopefully an experience that everyone who does this race experiences. Maybe not in the middle of the night, but you never know.
Yeah, both times I've been out there, I've seen antelope. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, the aid station at Fain Ranch is really cool. It's like picturesque ranch backdrop with a windmill behind us. So many landscapes, and we just. We're climbing up out of Fain Ranch, about mile 105 right now, and it's crazy how quickly the topography, the vegetation, everything changes. This is like Zion. You got the same dirt, same cedars, and it's crazy. I love the fact that this course has so much diversity. It's awesome. Yeah. And then we jump onto, I wouldn't call it single track, maybe cross country running.
Are you talking about
the man against horse section?
Yes. Yes. Very, very much some cross country travel across the ranch lands at the end there.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. It's the very finish of the man against horse 50 miles. So if you don't know much about that race, it's a historical race here in Arizona. It's been going on for a long time. And it finishes in this 2-mile stretch. It's where I was passed by the lead horse one year. I had the lead until 2 miles to go. And there's nothing to do at that point because it's pretty flat. But yeah, you're kind of in and out of these washes, making your way across there. Not super long section, but kind of gives you a nice flavor, something different.
No, it was really cool. We'll mark that section really well though. But
yeah.
But cool to be just kind of running across country through the end of the ranch there. And then you pop into the National Forest again to climb up to Mingus Mountain. This is another one of those sections I was blown away at how quickly the landscape changes. It goes to like a Zion, juniper and pine. The soil changes immediately to like a reddish clay, and the single track is just great. You're doing some pretty heavy switchbacks. It's a bear of a climb to get up to the top of Mingus, but awesome single track all the way up there.
Yeah, I know we switched the trail that we went up, so I haven't done that other one yet.
Really good.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, we found a good one. And then Mingus Mountain Camp, where another aid station is for us at mile 109. I'm 114 miles into the little fun run here, Cocodona 250 fun run. Top of Mingus Mountain at the hang glider launch site. It was a beast of a climb up from Fain Ranch to get up the top of Mingus Mountain, but oh man, it's worth it. It's another camp that we have. We've taken. We're going to take over the camp and have bunkhouses. Again, we'll have bonfires outside and food and all the good options as well. So that'll be a really good respite before the plunge down into Jerome and then the valley beyond. One thing I didn't expect is the hang glider Launchpad that we go right up to.
Yep.
And I actually got out on it, and you can kind of see what it would be like to drop down. Mingus is pretty much a sheer cliff looking back kind of to the east to the Verde Valley.
Yeah, it overlooks the Verde Valley. You see Sedona across the way. It's got to be one of the prettiest views on the course, I'd have to say.
It is, yeah. And that stretch from the top of Mingus, you're kind of in and out of the forest and along the edge of that cliff, looking out to the east to, like you said, Sedona and Flagstaff, and oh man, so good. And then you kind of like get out to the edge of this ridgeline and then just drop right off the edge.
Yeah.
And it's just switchback. Great trail.
I forget, can you actually see Jerome from there? Or is it a little bit obscured?
I think it's tucked around a corner. Yeah.
Nice.
It's a while before you can see Jerome, but man, that single track is so good.
It's steep too. Some sections.
When you get when you go through all the pictures and video, you're just gonna get me saying, "Oh my god, oh my god."
Were you on your bike there?
No.
Okay, I think I recommended not taking the bike.
Yeah, you did. Which it would have been a great section to have.
Oh, seriously? Damn it.
It was a great section to run too, so It was all good, man. And then you hit Forest Service Road 413, which, it's a really great grade, actually. It's just slightly downhill. And it follows the contour all the way to Jerome. You're, again, looking at the valley. For most of this course, you can intermittently see the peaks above Flagstaff. It's like this magnet pulling you north. And they keep getting bigger. So that means we're getting closer. The closer and closer you get to Jerome, the more and more mining evidence you see. You'll see like a mine. You'll see some leftover equipment. You'll see some old pipes. And then you start seeing like little mining huts that were abandoned and like just kind of falling apart. About 4 miles to Jerome. Drop down a amazing single track looking across the Verde Valley with Red Rocks and Flagstaff beyond on the other side. Really great. And we're passing a bunch of mining evidence now. Just past a little mine shaft, and then here's this cool little, must have been like a miner's hut at some point. Got a little barrel fire in there, and probably where they had walls and support structure. just right on the side of the mountain, right next to the little mine shaft. It's really cool, but that section does seem to take forever, man.
Yeah.
Goes on.
It's going to be a test of patience. Just maybe a good section for some music or something. And the problem is you just see Jerome, and then it like keeps winding you back in these canyons, and you just kind of contour around. So just got to be patient there.
Yeah. Super beautiful though. There's like wildflowers all around and great views. So you've got something to do there. Mile 123. Looking out of the Verde Valley. Cocodona and the Red Rocks. Flagstaff way up there. Coming into Jerome. Super cool town, just perched on the edge of the cliff. You can see out there is the old dormitory for the big mine. And then right there, the kind of whitish building, is our aid station. It's the Jerome Historic State Park. It's actually where the biggest mine shaft was, but we'll see you there. And then you pop out into Jerome, and man, I think Jerome is the coolest town that the course goes through. Super unique too, just hung to the side of the mountain. Mines everywhere. And we go right down, kind of right through the heart of town before we get to the aid station, which is the historic park, the state park there, which is actually a site of an old mine. And I'm super happy to have the aid station there. It's really cool. You're looking back on all the old mines and looking back on a Jerome. It's a cool place.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't been out to that exact spot yet. But yeah, Jerome is awesome. You get just this town clinging to the side of a mountain, old mining town. It's awesome.
So from Jerome, you're dropping down again. This is probably, other than the start, this is probably if you're in the daytime, could be one of the hottest sections of the course. Dropping across the valley, across Clarkdale and into Dead Horse and Tuzigoot. We kind of just go right through the middle of town in Clarkdale. It's another old historical town. You go right through the main square. And then one thing that is super cool that came about this week is the crossing of the Verde River. We were going to go across a bridge. It looks like now the town of Clarkdale and Cottonwood has asked if we wanted to just go ahead and ford the river.
Totally unexpected.
Yeah, I called Jamil up and I was like, hey, what do you think about crossing the river? He's like, fording it? Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds really cool. Why not?
Yeah, knee deep, but really great temperature. Cool your feet off, cool your calves off a little bit. And then, man, from there, it's just, you're in for single track that not only the single track just gets better and better and better, but the views just get better and better, and the terrain gets cooler and cooler as you kind of climb up out of this valley and get to kind of a plateau looking down onto Cocodona.
I was surprised by that. I had never come into Cocodona that way, and it's like you don't really get into the Red Rocks until all of a sudden you're in it. Really surprising.
Yeah, and I mean, you do get little hints of it. And like every ridge line you pop over, it's like it's poking out just a little bit more,
right?
And you see what you're coming into. But all the way from Tuzigoot and Dead Horse, you're right along the Verde River, green and lush. Not really what I was expecting through that valley, but so beautiful. And then the Lime Kiln Trail, from there across the valley. All the way to the outskirts of Cocodona is such a great trail.
Well, and the Verde Valley is a big wine producer as well, for Arizona anyways. It's only a couple areas that grow grapes, so that's kind of another attraction for the crews out there. Some wineries to check out when you're waiting around.
Yeah, totally. And one of my goals, and I think you had mentioned it when we first started working on this project, Jamil, is having kind of a list of points of things to do, to see, information about the history and, the places that they're going through. So yeah, we'll definitely have.
I mean, downtown Cottonwood's right there. We don't get to run through downtown Cottonwood, but it's a great place. I mean, when we did our pre-run, we went and had some wood-fired pizza down there, so it's a cool spot.
Oh man, I for the most part I don't eat meat, but I was craving like the biggest burger you could ever have, and I got it in Cottonwood. Yeah,
nice.
So yep, it was good.
So that brings us to Sedona.
Yeah. 158. Just got a little sleep in the Sedona aid station. Climbing up to take a loop around the northwest side of the city. I don't know what to say, man. There are not really words to express how just quiet and calm and peaceful and amazingly beautiful all of the whole valley. And man, we go all the way around the valley of Sedona. You get it from every single angle.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, we spend a lot of time in Sedona on this course, over just miles, endless miles of single track, some of the best places to go. We take you right to the heart of Sedona and around it. I mean, when I ran it last year, it was raining the whole day, so it was a different experience. But I mean, I think from dawn till dusk, we were in Sedona. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's about a 30-mile loop around, and nearly 100% of it is single track. And not only just single track, it's amazing quality, purpose-built single track with phenomenal views. 154 miles in. I knew how beautiful this course was, but you just can't express it. You can't know it unless you get out here. Oh my gosh. It's just everywhere you look. It's unreal. So yeah, we do a little loop around the airport. So you get that whole south side of Sedona, looking out to the south mainly. And then you kind of flip around, cross the main highway under the culvert, and then you're on the north side with kind of the opposite views.
Right up against the wilderness area there too.
Yeah, so good. Man, I got to say, right out by Huntley Tank, which is one of our aid stations around Mount 174, I found this great little spot to park the van, and I was hearing all these frogs.
Really?
And so we went up over this rise, and there's this pond in the middle of the desert sitting there, frogs all around, the moon above.
Nice.
So good. So after Sedona, we've got after you kind of have your fill of single track, we've got some really good dirt roads, double track running between Huntley Tank, which is mile 172, 174 through Hancock, to kind of finish out the valley down there before the big climb up Kasner. And it's a big climb.
Were you on foot or on your bike?
Yeah. I was on my bike. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I was totally prepared. I mean, you look at it and there's a section of switchbacks that just looks like a zipper.
Yeah.
And man, it's just straight up. But I mean, you had described this section as you go straight up and then you crest the ridge, and then you're on a ridgeline dropping off either side into wilderness area. That is so stunning. I couldn't believe it. 185 miles. Wind. Trees. Rocks. Water.
It's hard to describe it. It's kind of, it just drops off on both sides. And that was one of the challenges of getting out of Sedona and connecting Sedona to Flagstaff for a permitted race, is because there's so many wilderness areas around there. Kind of found this Kasner Mountain Trail right there. It's like a power line cut Jeep road. And yeah, there's this one section where, you probably remember it, the ridge is the width of the road.
There's not a whole lot else to do but to smile at this ridge line.
And it's like you got Red Rock Secret Mountain Wilderness in Sedona over here, and you got Sycamore Canyon over here. And Sycamore Canyon looks like Sedona. I mean, it's the same red rocks. It's just there's no buildings out there.
Yeah.
It's great.
It is so good. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And you've got that whole stretch through there from, I guess, like 180 to 200 is just really high up, great views off both sides. And then around mile 200, you're starting to get into the pines again. It's like changing to that, that higher elevation pine into Flagstaff, and it was cooling off, and man, that was great. I was cranking out miles then.
Oh yeah, the Ponderosa Pine Forest. You're kind of heading Coconino Plateau, heading towards. You can really feel like, okay, this is Flagstaff now, and yeah, you can move on those roads if you got something left.
Yeah,
that final kick, mile 200.
Yeah, and go through a couple of burn areas through there, which is interesting. I mean, it's totally natural, and you can. Like your view opens up a lot, and then you get into the trees a little bit. It's kind of alternating. Nice to go through that. And then right around Rogers Lake, you just like get a tiny view of Rogers Lake, and then take a right-hand turn and get back onto some great single track. And pretty much from there until the very end of the course, it's on great single track with a loop around now Flagstaff. So we've got, I guess about, I don't know, 10 miles of single track to Fort Tuthill. I saw some deer and elk through there. A lot of elk up in that area. And then, it takes us into Fort Tuthill. That's kind of the entrance to Flagstaff.
Yeah, and that's where our run ended last year. We just took a lot longer than we expected, so we called it a day there, but kind of good because the route I know has changed significantly, I think, since we brought you on board. Tell us about that last stretch from, are you on part of the Flagstaff Urban Trail System or the Flagstaff Loop Trail or Arizona Trail?
Yeah, it's, I guess a lot of that loop from mile 220 to 240 is the Flagstaff Loop Trail. We jump on right at the end. We jump on the AZT for a little bit. Super happy with what we ended up with. There were some sections of surface roads to kind of connect over to Walnut, and we were able to find some really great single track section connections that are just awesome. So yeah, from Fort Tuthill we go underneath the highway via culvert and go single track all the way around the airport, and you don't even know it. You just like at one point you pop out and you're like, oh, there's an airport right there.
That's awesome.
And then you get to Walnut Canyon, which and this is kind of right where we connect with the AZT for a little bit. So Fisher Point, I don't know if it's just me, but Fisher Point is kind of right at the mouth of Walnut Canyon, and there's a cave there. The canyon kind of splits into 3 different parts, and that's right where we go from being in the canyon, and we just climb up to be up on the north rim of the canyon there. For me, it holds this like special magical place. I don't know if it feels that way for everybody, but just looking down right as you're about to climb up out of Walnut Canyon, that view, oh man, the single track through the grass in the middle of the canyon, just kind of snaking back and forth through the valley is so good.
Nice. I need to get out there. I don't think I've done that yet.
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
That's great. It's something new for me.
A trail in Arizona that you haven't run. What?
What?
So then we're up on the top of Walnut Canyon, up on the rim. Single track is like alternating between super soft, plush single track to like some kind of chunky limestone, more technical pieces. So you got to keep your feet moving through there and stay as mentally active as you can after having, at this point, run 230 miles.
Yep.
And then we pop out onto Campbell Mesa. So we leave Walnut Canyon right before the National Monument right there, Walnut Canyon National Monument. Pop out onto Campbell Mesa, and it's really cool. For the past few miles, you've been looking down into the canyon, and now kind of it opens up a little bit, and you get all the views of Mount Eldon and San Francisco Peak through the trees. Man. I think I've said so good probably
so good
45,000
we're
times.
Gonna do
so good.
We're gonna do a compilation of all your so goods on the trail. We'll make shirt. That'll be like the
So
tagline.
good.
So good.
So good. Yeah, and then it's kind of you're being drawn to Mount Eldon. You've got another 10 miles or so to get to the base of Mount Eldon, and it's just
a big tease for 10 miles.
It's just looming in front of you, and you got to get to the top of it. Great, beautiful single track snaking through the trees, and then boom, it pops out. It's like, yep, you've got to climb me. And then you're like, okay, I got this. And then boom, there it is. You got to climb me. Yeah.
And you go through a bit of a burn area there, huh?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like you go through the pines, and then you go through a burn area. Then it turns into this moon landscape with like all this like pitted cinder pits, and then the climb up Eldon.
Heart Trail? Is it New Heart Trail or Old Heart Trail, or what are we talking here?
Yeah, so it's a little combination of both. We start out at the Sandy Seep trailhead, and we're on the New Heart Trail for a mile or so, and then we're on the Old Heart Trail. The choice is New Heart Trail, purpose-built, single track, really kind of more buffed out, a lot longer mileage and the same gain, so it stretches it out further. Or let's just go the Old Heart, which is rockier and steeper, same climb but a lot less mileage, which that's what we've elected to do. So yeah, it's
You're welcome.
the Old Heart. Yeah.
So good.
So yeah, it's a lot of switchback right up the kind of the bowl, the west face of Eldon. And then, man, I had no idea what I was going to get into at the top. Aspen, beautiful. I mean, there was snow up there. The wind was kicking hard, man. But that whole ridgeline, that last mile up to the very peak of Eldon is something pretty magical.
Aspens were probably greening up, or
They
not
were
yet?
just starting to bud.
Okay, sweet.
I was really impressed with that. And then that last aid station, whoever's going to captain that aid station, they're going to have perma wind hair, man. It was like 50 mile an hour winds up there.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. And then we're dropping down the backside of Eldon on Eldon Lookout Trail and the Sunset Trail. Man, that's going to pound some quads.
Yeah.
It's steep and just drop after drop after drop after drop. And I was like, man, I'm feeling it on my quads, and like I've taken my time with this. We talked about me having cocktails every night. You guys are going to be hurting.
At the top, I mean, you can see all of the town below you.
It feels like it's like underneath you almost. It's so straight down, you're seeing exactly where you're going. So yeah, you pound down that trail, and then you hit the pipeline trail, which is kind of nice, easy, more level grade cinder running path that kind of wraps you around the base of Eldon before spitting you out into Buffalo Park. Great little switchback, a single track trail at the end. You feel like, wait, I'm going the wrong direction here, going away from Flagstaff, and then it kicks you back and up and over this hill, and then you're like, oh man, now it's all downhill from here. And I had a really cool moment coming out of Buffalo Park. I turned around and started looking back at San Francisco Peak, and like, the whole week I'm thinking like, okay, what logistics do I need to check out? I've got to like find out if there's cell phone service. I've got to find out how much percentage is single track. Does this road connect? Okay, where does this trail tie in? Like the whole time I'm like thinking of logistics. And then right at the end, that last 2 miles, I like look back. I'm like, man, I don't want it to be over, man. I just want. Can we just keep going? So yeah, you guys are probably not going to feel like it's. You want it to keep going. You're going to want it to be over, but it's so close.
That last stretch, were you on foot or were you on a bike when you kind of completed it into town? What was it like kind of entering, into downtown Flagstaff.
I was on a bike. Yeah, Flagstaff's great, especially that north side of Flagstaff. It's such a cool town. You've got bike paths and running lanes, and everything's laid out just like an outdoor town should be.
Were you kind of thinking like what it might be like for someone on foot to complete the journey? Like what was going through your head as you were doing the last mile?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I was looking at like, okay, we're going to put a sign there, and where would they, how would they cross this intersection? Yeah, for sure. I mean, as much as this week was super enjoyable to do, it was work. I was,
sure.
Out there. So yeah, envisioning it as it was, is to be run. But you've really only got a mile and a half or so of sidewalk and bike lanes, spits you, bam, right from Buffalo Park right into downtown. One turn and then another turn, and you're at the finish line. And really cool place to finish too. We looked at a couple of different finish lines, and Jamil felt like it was super important to be in the heart of Flagstaff. And man, we're right in the heart of Old Town Flagstaff.
Yeah. I mean, really the goal is we want your average resident of these towns to know what Cocodona is, and to know that people are running from basically Phoenix to Flagstaff through their town. That's the goal. That's the vision. And it's to connect people from all over the world with these towns and with the landscapes and with the communities. So hopefully it happens.
Wait, what's the hopeful? What are you talking about?
No, I can't wait. It's, God, I want to run it so bad.
Yeah, I know. That's like the third time you said that today. But, I mean, I think you guys should all email Jamil and tell him he should run it.
All right. We'll see what happens.
Cool.
Anything else you want to share? I know it was, probably awesome getting all that solo time. I'm sure there was probably times when you wish there were some other people out there with you.
Yeah, I had a friend with me. She was awesome. Every time I pulled up to the van was clean.
Nice.
And she was always right on time. And man, it was really nice to have a good support crew. At one point, though, we were texting back and forth, and you were like, man, I wish we were in on Whiskey Row having a burger with the crew. And I was like, oh man, that would be really cool.
Well, I remember you were telling me like, I'm going to just grab a cocktail. I was like, oh, you're going to hit up one of the bars on Whiskey Row? And you're like, no, there's a pandemic going on. None of them are open. I was like, it was so funny because I think I had just done something that required me to like wear a mask. Like I had just gone to like Home Depot or something, and I was literally just took my mask off, and I had already forgotten that like, oh yeah, it's not just here, it's everywhere, and there's no burgers and beers in the bars right now. Dang it.
No, every time I finished, I was reminded of that too, man. That's all I wanted to do was go into town and get something to eat, and thankfully had the van. But it would have been really cool to be with the racing team and the staff, going through this course and doing it together as a team building and logistical, reconnaissance mission. But, some other time.
Yeah. Well, looking back on your week, I mean, how did it affect you emotionally, like doing the route overall? I mean, was it an experience for you, or was it just kind of doing the logistics took more precedence over the whole thing?
Logistics for sure. I mean, I smiled a whole lot. This course, it's just so good.
So good.
So good. The diversity of the course really affected me. Sometimes when I get just a really special view, I just start laughing and can't stop laughing. And that's kind of what happened a lot.
Nice.
There were some times in the morning when I'd wake up and be like, I really don't feel like getting out. Which I'm sure that will be mirrored by a lot of people on this course. But overall, man, it brought me up more than it brought me down, that's for sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing your experience over the past week. I can't wait till we can get out there together on some of these sections.
Yeah, man.
I want to bring my bike on some of them too. Maybe some of the more flowy sections.
I know which sections not to now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
pass that info along. Let's talk a little bit more looking forward, maybe what's next in the process. We're talking about some timelines. Do you have any insights for us?
Our plan is 10 days, May 15th to launch registration. By then, we hope to have a lot of the runner-facing information fleshed out on the website. Aid station mileage, crew access, pacer access, drop bags, all of that sort of thing, and then a preliminary runner packet. So, 10 days, we'll have our head down, getting all that information fleshed out on there. I also want to get some really good descriptions of the course sections and water locations where you can fill and filter along the course so you guys can get out there and be training on the course. But yeah, 10 days, the clock is ticking for registration to open.
Yeah, so check it out. Cocodona.com is going to have all the information. It will be on Ultra sign up. You can also register with a mail-in form if you want to save on credit card processing fees. We'll have all the pricing information up on there shortly, so stay tuned. And for those of the listeners out there or viewers that want to, say, check out a piece of the course or train on a section of the course, I know there are some stipulations on some areas that are private property, and we want to, we need to respect the private property owners and not go on certain sections. Is there going to be some resources available for people that want to train on the course to know, hey, where am I allowed to go? Where can they find that information?
Yeah, great question. So on the course page on the website, at the bottom, there is information on the entire course for sure, but then at the bottom of that page, it's broken out. I broke it into sections of kind of the easiest sections to either shuttle vehicles or to get to trailheads. It could be anywhere from 10-mile sections to 35-mile sections, but I broke it up into chunks and put those starting and end points at locations that you could search with your phone and get a ride to, and also excluded the private property places where you're not allowed to cross through, while you're training for the course. And, GPS tracks that you can download. So yeah, all that information is there. What I do want to add is the water information, because that's a critical piece. If you're going out for 40 miles, you want to know where you can pump water. So I'll get that info up there pretty soon.
For sure. That's awesome. So with everything going on with the pandemic right now, all Aravaipa running races, we're currently switching to, it's kind of a waitlist format. So you can go sign up for one of our races, but your credit card will not be charged at this moment in time. And then when we're confident that a race will happen, same with Cocodona right now, once we know that it for sure can happen, we will contact you, and then you can make your final decision on charging your credit card or not. So you do have to enter your credit card number on Ultra Sign Up, but then you'll have a second chance to either confirm or decline the entry when we do contact you. So yeah, when we do open registration, it'll kind of save your spot in line, so to speak. It'll guarantee your spot as long as we have space available. And then you'll be able to confirm that down the line.
Yeah, I think that's good to know for people that want to register for this race, Jamil, is that if you're right there on May 15th and you sign in, put your credit card info in there, you're guaranteed an entry as long as you meet the requirements to enter the race. If you wait, I think we're expecting this, hoping that this race will cap out. But that's an important piece to know as you go ahead and get your place in line on the 15th.
Yeah, I mean, if you're serious about the event and you are planning on doing it, it doesn't cost you anything on day one to do it. But yeah, please, only if you're serious about it, sign up. That's great info. Let's see. Yeah, I think that might be everything. I don't know. If you have any volunteers, maybe.
I want to get a link that people can, if they don't want to participate as a runner, or if they want to recommend somebody to to volunteer to run an aid station or to help us, sweep the course or set the course, I'll have that a form that they can fill out with all the kind of the different positions. That'll probably be in June or July or so.
Well, currently we have just an interest form on the website, but we'll have more details in probably June.
Yep.
I know we're going to have different opportunities. There's going to be volunteering and also some like contractor type spots. I mean, is that a public thing, or is that more like people we contact individually?
Depending on how long people are going to volunteer for, they can either take Aravaipa race credits, they can either be hired as a contractor, or they could take a donation to a group, a nonprofit group.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. So just so people know, if you're out there, let's say you have some event experience and you're looking for a week's worth of work, there will be opportunities not only to earn race credits or for your group, but also we will have some paid contractor positions as well.
Yeah, that's right. And this being such a long course, but also a long timeline, most of the positions of our quote unquote staff are in the 3 to 7 day range. I know that's a pretty big range, but I guess it goes from 3 all the way up to 7 days. Kind of the most intense job is a course manager. We're calling it course manager. So you set the course, you manage the course, you deal with any injuries, lost runners, course signage issues during the race, and then you sweep the course afterwards. So you get to know your 30-mile section really well over the course of 3 to 7 days. So yeah, that's one of those. And then anything from an aid station captain to a sweeper, you can either earn Aravaipa race credits. We have some contractor position that are paid positions, and then earn money for a nonprofit group if you'd like that donation as well.
As far as runner tracking, I know you tested a system out. We're pretty sure we're going to use that system, but we will have GPS tracking.
Yeah, I was impressed. I've seen it in use, and I know you've used the same system on some of your races, Jamil. But I was really impressed. It kept, it's a very small, lightweight unit, about the size, of a deck, a little smaller than a deck of cards, and it kept track of me the entire time. Don't need cell service. It's done off satellite, and so your crew or anyone at home can be viewing your location along the course, and it shows kind of your if you're moving, average speed, that sort of thing. A course like this, we want to be able to see where you are on the course in real time, not just with mats. We want to keep track of you, make sure you're safe, but also give an opportunity for your crew to see how you're doing along the course.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for your time today, and good luck. We'll check back in soon.
Okay. Sounds good.
Right.
Thanks, Jamil.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for checking this out. Be sure to follow us. If you want to find out more race information, Cocodona.com, or you can follow us on social media, Cocodona250. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, maybe. Yeah. All the things. All right, guys. See you later.